You again.
Awesome seeing you again.
Yes. Well, we start with what is happening. Before we talk about what is happening in the Women Premier League, let's talk about the the Shield Cup semi-final happening tomorrow. We have two matches. Bandari FC will be taking on Assad, SS Assad. Kenya Commercial Bank will be taking on Kariobangi Sharks. Before tomorrow's matches, what do you think about the four teams that have come this far?
Okay, really, this affair looks like to be among the three league teams. Because if Assad have tried coming this far, they're doing some nice job. But then when you look at Bandari, they're doing well in the league. Mm-hmm. They have a good team right now as compared to Assad. Yeah. So tomorrow might be a very, very tricky affair for them. Mm-hmm. Then you go looking at KCB and Kariobangi Sharks. Kariobangi Sharks are the home team of our chairman, Mwendo. Are also doing well, though they came through to the semis via penalties. Yeah. They're not a bad team. KCB is not really that a bad team. So we should be expecting a very, very tricky affair between these two teams. Mm-hmm. Though I'm looking at a Kariobangi Sharks which will be buoyed by the fact that they've been to like 4 consecutive finals. Yeah. So KCB should take caution. Mm-hmm. Because the Kariobangi Sharks are the defending champions, so they'll be looking forward to defend their trophy. Mm-hmm. They might just have an edge over KCB. So
basically, in simple terms, you're saying this is the end of the road for Assad. I remember when the league also started, Bandari, that is the top flight league in the country, a lot of guys were saying maybe this is the year Bandari is going to take it, but Gor Mahia is back, yeah, and they seem like they're also going to take the 18th league title, and this perhaps might be the only trophy that Bandari has to win.
Yeah, and they have to win it after going through Assad, so they'll probably go through to the finals. Yeah. But now, depending on whom they meet the finals, then they might have a chance of losing it or taking it, at least to have that trophy. Because everyone was talking about Bandari. Yeah. There's a time when Gor was on the assignments of the continental assignments. Yeah. So Bandari had that age to play more games as compared to Gor. Right now, Gor came back and they took their rightful place in the league. So Bandari, this should be their chance to at least lift a trophy this season.
There is no likelihood that Assad would be the dark horse of the competition this time round, given that it's the only non-Kenyan Premier League club that has so far reached the last 4 of the competition.
I don't see them making it through.
This is the end of it.
Yes. They'll be seeing a very hostile reception here in Kenya. So, and remember, we are. It's always Kenyan when we are here. Yeah. Yes.
Kenya Commercial Bank taking on Kariobangi Sharks. This is the 4th time Kariobangi Sharks is in the final. Last time they got to the semi-final and to the final. They lifted the cup. They are the defending champions. They got an opportunity to represent Kenya in the CAF Confederations Cup. Do you think Kenya Commercial Bank poses a threat in them going forward to the final and to defend their title successfully?
Why not? Because if you look at KCB, they're not that strong. They're not really that strong as compared to the likes of Kariobangi Sharks, who has been in the final for the last four seasons. Yes. So I think whatever happens. Yeah. Look at Liverpool. It happens. So they might have the Jones to go against Kariobangi, but slightly Kariobangi should be able to nick it and maybe face Bandari in the finals, as I've said.
Okay, so you're forcing a situation where Kariobangi Sharks and Bandari
and the finals
are the finals. Well, we're talking about the semi-final of the Shield Cup, where Bandari will be taking on SS Assad. Kenya Commercial Bank has a date with the defending champions, that is Kariobangi Sharks. I don't know, you know, what is at stake is that whoever wins this one gets an opportunity to represent the country in the CAF Confederations Cup. We saw Kariobangi Sharks being eliminated in the CAF Confederations Cup, and also saw Gor Mahia being relegated from the CAF Champions League to the CAF Confederations Cup, getting all the way to the quarterfinals of that particular competition. So who among Bandari, Assad, KCB and Kariobangi Sharks have what it takes to get to the finals of the Shield Cup and get themselves an opportunity to represent the country in the continental showpiece? Send your thoughts and contribution to our show this afternoon to 0739110544. That is 0739110544. On Twitter, we are at KUTV Kenya. That is our official Twitter handle. I'm at Florendungu. You can talk to Peter Maora at Real Pinches and at Fred Openda. So keep them coming. Well, already I know I can hear your SMSs coming through. I'll be reading them in a few. Let's turn our attention to something positive, just briefly, about branding. We're going to be talking about a team, Wazito. They were relegated, unfortunately, to the lower league. But I've seen a billboard about Wazito.
They're coming back.
And they have a team bus.
Yeah.
When we talk about branding, Wazito was bought by someone from Dubai, if I'm not wrong, and then they promised to have a bus. Now we've seen it. When we talk about branding, it is one of the teams that is doing very well in the local scene, both across board. Let me talk about across board in terms of football. Now we are seeing billboards about Wazito FC. The bus that was promised is already here. They want to have their own stadium. What do you think about Wazito's strategy when it comes to football?
What Wazito is doing is all but preparing to come back to the KPL, to the Sportpesa League next season. They're doing very well in the Nationwide League. And as we said this before, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that what these teams now need to do is find sponsors. The stakeholders of clubs is to go out there, find sponsors.
Yeah, true.
The case of Wazito, they found someone who is willing to invest, and the team is showing that we need this investment. If we are going to find clubs, stakeholders in the football field coming on board and trying to come out and look for sponsors for these clubs, then we are going to have a very good Kenyan league as compared to Tanzania maybe, because we will not be able to see the incident of walkovers. You've just talked about a walkover maybe which might happen in a few minutes, just around where we are. If we have sponsors who are willing to sponsor these teams, and these teams will be able to show what they can do on the field, then trust me, the issue of walkovers happening is going to end. The issue of players striking is going to end, and we'll be able to see a league whereby talent is being developed and it's being showcased outside there. Right now, we no longer have our games on SuperSport because of all the wrangles in the league and all that. If we get good sponsors, it will be another point, to show these broadcasters that we have what it takes to be on the international platforms, so that we can showcase what we have in Kenya.
True.
Yes.
Well, we'll be continuing with that discussion, but we are briefly going to turn our attention to a particular match, that is Soccer Queens versus Gospel. This particular match was our highlight in the Women Premier League. Right on KUTV on the sport, we like being diverse and showcasing having a diversity. We like talking about the men football, but it's also good to talk about the women football. But right now there is a crisis. They want to break away. They want to start their own leagues. The club officials want to withdraw their clubs from the main league that is normally run by Football Kenya Federation. That is the body mandated to run anything football in this country. But right now, let me introduce to you my colleague, Peter Mwaora. We like calling him Pinches right here on KU. But good afternoon, Peter Pinches Mwaora. I understand that you cannot see either Soccer Queens or Gospel players maybe warming up on the pitch. What's the latest? What can we expect? Are we going to be having this particular match?
Well, a very good afternoon, Florence, back in studio. Well, in a week where we've been discussing a lot of achievement in terms of international football and some historic events in terms of the English football, and a lot of conversation going through in terms of some of the historic events that have happened this week. It's a pity that in our local football we have to talk about some of the situations that are so ashaming, things that we don't presume, or rather we would not wish to see in some of our top tier leagues. In some women Premier League encounters that were supposed to be played today, Gaspor were playing away to Soccer Queen at the Ruiru Stadium where we are right now. The match was supposed to kick off from 1 p.m. But I understand, as per what they had said before, remember the officials, club officials from 11 teams that are participating, the 15 teams that participate in the top tier league, the women Premier League, had a meeting in Nakuru to just chant away of the way forward in terms of how to run the women Premier League. They were concerned that FKF is not dispersing the 750,000 grants on time, and this has made the leagues not to run smoothly, with some of the teams not being able to honor their matches, which they are saying the many walkovers are making even the league not attractive to attract as many sponsors. And I like even the conversation that I'm hearing from studio, you discussing about how our leagues can be able to attract as many sponsors and make sure that teams can run even without depending on some of these grants. Well, it's a pity that no action has kicked off from the Ruiru Stadium in terms of the Women Premier League. I would want even to have a conversation with some of the officials, but no one is around the stadium to talk about the situation and maybe why they have decided to boycott the match, or rather not to honor the match. Per the FKF, from the FKF, the communication from FKF by yesterday was that the league is supposed to continue. We'll begin, of course, to also follow up on some of the matches that were supposed to be played at the camp. We were having match at the Camp Toyoyo and another one at Steamer Club, to just know whether the matches kicked off again. Even tomorrow we are supposed to have other matches, Florence, but it's in doubt whether the matches are going to be staged at a different location. Again, this is not a good thing for the Women Premier League, because you remember, well, being a league that was inaugurated, or rather we had the first league back in the 80s, but then in a period of between 2010, we saw now the league again was not in existence, and the government had to come in with a collaboration with UNICEF to just fund the league around 2010 to 2013. But again, even in 2013, with the government and UNICEF pulling out of the league again, the league ended without being finished. We don't wish to see a situation where even the 2019 Women Premier League will end without us having to play all our matches. It's a pity, but again, it's just some of the issues that are facing our local football. Remember again, even in the Kenya Premier League, weeks ago, we saw Mount Kenya United not being able to honor their match against Gor Mahia. These are just the emerging issues coming at a time when Kenya has been able to qualify for AFCON. It says a lot about us developing in terms of our local, all our grassroots level. But again, for football lovers, they will still be able to enjoy some matches in the afternoon. I understand Zitek are about to take Balaji in a county league matches, and other matches are lined up till 6 p.m. So for football lovers, they will not miss out in some of the football actions. They will still enjoy them. I would wish to just have a quick run to the Steamer Club and see whether the other match that was supposed to be Kibera taking on Eldoret Youth, whether it's a kickoff. But as for now, Florence, this is the update from the Ruiru Stadium.
Peter Vinces Mora, before I let you go, I would want to know your thoughts as an ardent sports journalist. Do you think the threat that the club chairmans made, that they're going to pull out their teams, this is what we are seeing is happening starting from today. Do you think from now henceforth they will continue boycotting these matches?
Well, not the best decision, not the best run in terms of the moving, not the right way to move in terms of the Women Premier League. Remember, it's a pretty young league that we saw it last year trying to come up against some few challenges in terms of financial hiccup. But this season, we have seen a lot of matches being staged, and in fact, even media is now even focusing on a lot of women football to try and make sure that we focus on women football, because again, the Women Premier League, Florence, you understand, provides the biggest chunk in terms of our national team, the Harambee Starlets, which again have had a very good run in terms of the continental football. So not the best move, but at the end of the day, what we wish for is to see that different parties will come on board and have a sit down and to chant the way forward in terms of running the Women Premier League. Of course, the club officials, they have expressed their interest to have rather another league and pull their teams out of the the FKF run Premier League. They have suggested to come up with the Kenya Women Premier League teams league. They have suggested actually 3 names that they could use to name their new league. I don't think it's the best move. Remember, again, some of these wrangles don't end well in terms of the future of some of these players who are so keen to maybe don the national team jersey. But again, it's something we'll be following up. But from my point of view, not the best move in terms of women football, being something that is so new. And again, in terms of even Florence of continental football, remember, even in Africa, we are trying to set up structures in terms of women football. So if Kenya can be able to come up with the best structures as early as possible, means we can be a force to reckon in the continent. So by the time other teams or other countries come up with their system, they will be doing some benchmarks in our league. Remember, our neighbors Tanzania having a fantastic, well-run women league. So it's something that we should come up together, different stakeholders, and make sure that we come up with the best, we chant the way forward, and the way forward that will benefit some of these women footballers.
Thank you so much, Peter Pinches Maura. I'll let you go to Steamer Club and see if the other matches have kicked off. But also, you will I hope you'll be in a position to bring us up to speed with other matches that are not happening in Nairobi. And also, if you can get hold, maybe on Ford, the guys from Football Kenya Federation to hear their side of the story, that would be totally awesome. We'll be getting back to you in a few so that you can tell us the latest and if all other matches were boycotted. Thank you so much, Peter Pinches Maura. My friend, you see what is happening. Just a confirmation, you've had it right here for the first time. Soccer Queens versus Gaspo, that match is not happening. It was supposed to happen at Ruiru Stadium, and both teams are not there. So see, it's a walkover. It's not one team that has boycotted. All of them have boycotted. Let me hear your thoughts on the same. The league has 15 teams. 11 chairmen have come out and said we want to pull out. That was a threat. I don't know, Kama, this is now they're actualizing their threat. But what do you think? Is this the right way to solve issues in terms of women football?
First of all, it's a shame that we're having such incidences in the women's league.
Yeah.
When we don't honor matches, then why do we have the league? Mm-hmm. You know, we really need to be honest with ourselves. Sure. Because if the 11 chairmen of the 11 chairmen out of the 15 are coming to say that we are going to pull out from the league, mm-hmm. then in whose best interests is this league? Mm-hmm. Because if this is what the chairmen are saying, mm-hmm. then I think what they're looking at is the 750,000. Mm-hmm. Because from their point of view is that if they don't receive this 750,
they'll pull out.
They pull out. Mm-hmm. Then where are they going to get this 750? Mm-hmm. From where else? Is there something that they are not telling the Kenyan people? Yeah. Because if they have sponsors, they need to come on board. Mm-hmm. They need to have a very, very candid discussion with all the stakeholders, mm-hmm. not just the clubs. We have the fans of the league. We have the government. Everyone should be brought in, on board, mm-hmm. In order to have a candid discussion whereby we can really try to help this league. Because last season they didn't finish all the matches. People pulled out again, as we can put it. Mm-hmm. So what really needs to be done is sit down with the government. Yeah. These funds can be released. Mm-hmm. And the government also should not be like be at the other end where they cannot meet with the chairman of the women Premier League clubs. Yeah. The chairman can come meet the government, and if the government is requesting for transparency, for accountability, mm-hmm. this is something simple. It should be done. If there's the monies which are being dispersed are used wisely and in the appropriate way, then why not? Mm-hmm. Why not tell the government this is what we have used this is our budget, let's put it so. Mm-hmm. So if they want to pull out from the league, it's not the
It's not
best
the best.
decision. That's
Actually,
best
before we take a very
decision.
short
Yeah.
break, I want to agree with you that in whose interest, that was a very pertinent question, in whose interest are they pulling out? And also the issue of money comes in. And we have to look at this issue on both sides of the coin. They're saying that the Football Kenya Federation is delaying the 750 grants that each team is supposed to receive. On the other hand, Football Kenya Federation is questioning, is bringing the issue of accountability to the fore, because that this is a challenge that is not only happening in the Women Premier League. We've seen it across board.
Yes.
I don't want to say it's a Kenyan thing that we don't like accountability. The percentage of maybe football managers who are upright, I can say it's very thin.
Yeah.
But do you think if the issue of accountability was sorted, even if they want to pull out, do you think they can account? Do you have faith in them that even if they were to bring sponsors on board, they would account for the money they receive?
That's why I came up with that question. In whose best interests are they pulling out? Because okay, they pull out, fine, they'll get sponsors maybe if they have. If they are not saying that we have
if
sponsors.
they don't have it right now for their clubs, are they going to get it for the league?
For the league, it will be a mountain to climb, because everyone, even if it's the sponsors, they will need accountability.
True.
You run from let's say from a frying pan into the fire. Yeah, because sponsors are very strict on the issues of accountability. So it's all about having a good round table discussion with all the stakeholders.
And putting the footballer
exactly
at the top and
the nation.
It's the biggest stakeholder.
Exactly.
We're going to be taking a very short break, but when we come back, I'd like us to discuss still on the Women League. If the league is not strong, you know, we can get our national team with how strong the league is. If we have a strong league, then we are going to be having a very strong national team. It's right here on KUTV on the spot, where we were discussing about the women national football team, that is the Harambee Starlets, having an opportunity to go to the Women World Cup even before their male counterparts. Right now we are talking about Harambee Stars going to Egypt to play in the finals of the Africa Cup of Nations. For the first time, in the last edition of the Africa Women Cup of Nations, we saw Kenya participating. This time round, they did not get there. We had a couple of issues here and there. But what do we need to do as a country, as a federation, and as people who love football in this country? What do we need to do to ensure that the women football does not die? We take a very short break. I'll be taking your questions, your feedback on 0739 110 544, and I'll also check out on what you guys are saying on Twitter. We take a very short break. This is KUTV on the spot.